Fellas, today we are taking a look at Not Forgotten and Luna's Howl after the nerf. And yes, it's a pretty big change in regards to what's happened to both of these weapons. First up, there was an RPM change to 150 from 180, and secondly, Magnificent Howl got a rework in which rapidly landing 2 precision hits will only increase damage and range on your next body shot. Now I will say the increase in range is applied there to the precision shot as well, so if you are in a situation where there's some damage fall off and you proc Magnificent Howl, the next precision shot will be the full damage of 68. But let's talk about this weapon, guys, and by the way, in the top right hand corner you will see icons popping up. One will indicate that this is the mouse and keyboard portion of gameplay. Sometimes it'll be swapping, and then the other one will be the controller portion of gameplay. And we need to talk about controllers and consoles with Not Forgotten and Luna's Howl because it's very important, because the way Luna and Not Forgotten feels in the hands of a controller user is completely different to how it feels in the hands of mouse and keyboard. So first up, guys, this archetype change. Let's just go over the damage numbers. Originally, it was a 180 round per minute hand cannon. It was hitting 57 per crit and 39 per body, but with something like Magnificent Howl, this dropped our time to kill down from a default of 1 second to 0.67. Magnificent Howl playing the biggest role here in dropping that time to kill. But to make things even nastier with Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten, if you happen to proc Magnificent Howl between targets, a lot of times it'll double proc, meaning the next target you'll just be able to hit them for 2 crits and kill them in 2 shots. So actually, Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten pre 2.5.01 was able to reach a time to kill value here of 0.33 seconds. This is extremely disgusting. Now, let's talk about where Not Forgotten and Luna's Howl sits today. First up, it's hitting 68 per crit and 43 per body, the same as our other 150 round per minute hand cannons. But with the changes to Magnificent Howl, the way your gunfights are going to go is you land 2 precision hits, and you can either finish that opponent off with another precision hit, or you just hit them in the body. The body shot damage will actually be 68 damage. So you don't get this huge multiplier in crit shot damage. No, this simply just allows us here to have a more forgiving 150 round per minute hand cannon, which is a killer here, guys. I'm okay with the archetype changes moving from a 180 to 150. Matter of fact, I think most console players and controller users might actually even like that it's a 150 more than a 180, as locking the weapon at 150 rounds per minute allowed this weapon, for me at least, to be much easier to land consecutive crits. But this nerf to Magnificent Howl, this is a big one. I think it completely neuters the lethality of this weapon, and to me, it was the only reason I would even go after these hand cannons to begin with. Now, let's get into the feel of the weapons, guys. PC versus console, controller users versus mouse and keyboard. First up, we're gonna go with the worst of the two. Yes, mouse and keyboard by far. This weapon, Not Forgotten and Luna's Howl both, were designed for controller users, 100%. Any PC user or mouse and keyboard user will tell you that the hand cannon does not feel good, and I think it's a number of reasons. Number one, the recoil pattern actually throws mouse and keyboard users off. You'll notice a lot of times when you're actually aiming the weapon, you gotta aim underneath your reticle, which sounds bizarre, but being this precision frame, something about the way the weapon drives upwards, for most mouse and keyboard users, at least for me, this throws me off. And not having the lethality there of Magnificent Howl really is gonna hurt the usage of Not Forgotten and Luna's Howl. No lie, guys, I can name 10 different hand cannons off the top of my head that are better than Not Forgotten on PC, which is crazy considering how much work you put into getting this weapon. There should not be that many hand cannons that are better than it. But Thorn, Last Word, Spare Rations. Yes, I said Spare Rations. I would take a God Roll Spare Rations over this. Kinder Orchid. Did I mention Ace of Spades? Even Ace of Spades, since it's been nerfed, is still better than Not Forgotten. There's a load of other hand cannons I would choose and use, especially in something like competitive or rumble, over something like Not Forgotten for mouse and keyboard users. The weapon just does not feel good. Matter of fact, on mouse and keyboard, Luna's Howl to me almost feels better than Not Forgotten, but both of them feel pretty damn terrible. And the reason why I say they feel pretty damn terrible is because of controllers. The moment you plug in your controller and start using Not Forgotten and Luna's Howl, especially me, I've been spending the past 2-3 days mouse and keyboard using Not Forgotten. The moment I plugged in a controller, oh my god, this weapon is on crack in the hands of a controller user. To me, everything that was created about this weapon, from its intrinsic perk being a precision frame to its original design being a 180, everything about it is a hand cannon design for console users. And on PC, a controller user with this hand cannon will wreck many PC users with other hand cannons. I know nobody likes to hear that, but the weapon is just too damn sticky, man. And it also avoids many of the other issues that controller users faces when using hand cannons. Even here on PC, with certain hand cannons and you're using a controller, you still run into the factor of bloom and other things. Not Forgotten avoids that. Luna's Howl also avoids that. So if Bungie was hoping to shake things up by making this change in archetypes from 180 to 150, I think they failed, because the archetype change definitely brought the time to kill up to the rest of our weapons. But at the end of the day, if you don't start addressing the way hand cannons feel on console and for controller users to begin with, there will be no other hand cannons that can truly compete against weapons like Not Forgotten and Luna's Howl for console users. It's just not gonna happen, guys. Not saying you can't get out there and get kills with other hand cannons. Obviously you can. I'm just saying the ease of use that Not Forgotten and Luna's Howl affords for controller users is not matched by other hand cannons. So overall, I thought that the nerf that was happening to Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten was going to essentially up the usage of these weapons on PC, but lower the usage of them on console. I fear the opposite has occurred with this nerf. The usage here on PC is going to diminish greatly, whereas the use of it on console will probably stay about the same. It'll either stay about the same, or there'll actually be players that pick it up more, because like I said, being a 150 now instead of a 180 actually allow me to land more consecutive crits, and for some players it'll give them more ease of use. So the weapon to me just became easier to use in the hands of a controller user, and by killing off Magnificent Howl essentially, you're definitely not going to see an increase in usage for PC users. So guys, I am not a fan of this nerf. Like, I know something had to be done. Me personally, I would have left Magnificent Howl alone, allowed it to keep proccing that multiplier and increase on crit shot damage. I would have also removed precision frame from this weapon. Nobody's gonna like this idea, especially my console users, but if you're looking for diversity between hand cannons, if fixing other hand cannons is absolutely not an option, then I would have removed precision frame from this hand cannon and made it behave like a 150 round per minute hand cannon. I mean, fellas, let's be real with each other. When you use this hand cannon, does it really feel like you're using a hand cannon? No. Every time I use a 180 round per minute hand cannon, and I love them. I love Truss, Cold Sweat. I like them a lot. But at the end of the day, they're a glorified sidearm. That's exactly the way they feel. They don't even feel like a hand cannon. Name one hand cannon inside of Destiny 1 that behaves like a precision frame hand cannon. So to me, Luna's Howl, Not Forgotten, I would have just turned them into a 150 round per minute hand cannon. And actually, I would have given them like a different intrinsic perk other than lightweight. I wouldn't just be taking from whatever archetype that it sits in. So maybe something custom to it, lightweight plus adaptive. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways I would have gone about dealing with both of these weapons, but unfortunately, the result will be less usage on PC and pretty much the same amount of usage on console. So guys, that is my thoughts on it. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.